Okay, so this video is a part 2 for negative energy harvesting from my last video, in which I discussed negative energy harvesting by the Illuminati and Club 27. So, one thing to consider that I need to correct from the last video is that Robin Williams, in the video that was stated by the Vigilant Christian, Mario basically stated, he's the guy who does the Vigilant Christian channel, said that Robin Williams only hung himself on a doorknob, and that's what I was contemplating, which is kind of ridiculous. I was contemplating such a thing when I was younger, but then again, I was young. I was like 15 years old then, and so that was the only spot to hang himself that he said out of all the spots in the rich man's house, because I'm sure he has a lot of banisters and rafters he can hang himself from. He chose a doorknob, and a door, and some people he even drew up schematics on it, trying to figure out how this occurred. And he said it's probably, well, he didn't really say it was a hoax. I don't even know if he said it was a hoax on this video, but his death was a hoax. It's kind of ridiculous that someone could hang themselves using a door and or a doorknob. And he drew up some schematics on it. They're kind of funny because it's like, look, it's so ridiculous. You can't do it. It's like the doorknob would fall off, or the door itself might fall down. Well, you might be able to hang yourself from the door with a noose. It depends on how thick the door is. That might be possible if you're short enough. But Robin Williams, I'm not so sure how short he is. Some people in Hollywood are sure. But anyway, his death was a hoax, okay? Plain and simple. So, but that's what his channel stated. It was just the doorknob, and that relates to me due to the fact that I was contemplating such a thing, and or the whole door, which was kind of ridiculous that I was contemplating such a thing, but that's what happened. He didn't say it any other way. So I had to correct that from the last video because that was wrong. There was no other method for him hanging himself besides using the door. So anyway, we have that. So, so like I said, with all these celebrities dying, they're just harvesting negative energy. That's what they're pretty much doing. That's one of the outcomes, and one of the desired outcomes, I should say, that they want when either murdering a celebrity or when they fake their death. So I'd like to get into what women are talking about locally in the town I live in, Bend, Oregon. So they're talking. Mostly, I'll give you a little background. Okay, the young women in this town, or in the city, I should say, are the minors. I should say, the young adolescents are crying to their parents, asking them to make pedophilia legal for me, which is kind of ridiculous. And that's also harvesting negative energy because they're faking it too, and they're also quite sad. So it's harvesting some kind of negative energy due to the fact that I'm sure it's frustrating the parent. I personally am not okay with it. I just kind of wanted a wife out of the deal, out of my life, and that looks like it's going to get torpedoed and never happen, or it seems that way. So anyway, yeah, that's one of the things they're doing, is that these young women are crying. They want pedophilia to be made legal for me due to the fact that I was not incarcerated for my crime in Las Vegas, which I regret doing, which was a big mistake, and I can get into that on a later video. It was just kind of a big mistake on both of my part and the part of the woman who was there at the time. It was a big mistake. So anyway, we'll get into it here. And the other thing is, she was all. We'll get into that in a later video of how that situation might or might not have been set up in Las Vegas, or might have not have had some strange issues occurring with it, such as the fact that I could hear the Illuminati every time I have intercourse, which is not good. It shows me that they're at least listening in. So anyway, let's discuss this briefly. So we have the negative energy harvesting from these celebrities. So one of the ways in which they're going to harvest negative energy from me is due to the fact that I could possibly commit suicide soon. So women in this town are discussing this, and I hear them discussing it. So I was at the movie theater recently, just the first movie I've seen in the theater in years. I usually don't go to the movie theaters. I decided to go to one since I have unlimited free time after voluntarily leaving my job. So basically, she said, aren't all the women who believed in Greg going to be sad over him killing himself? And the thing is that that plays right to the Illuminati's hand. They're going to be okay with it because it harvests his negative energy. They're not going to stop me, most likely, is what I think, which is fine. I'm okay with that because I don't want to put up with a reality that's rigged, in which I've been lied to my whole life, in which I get terrorized by them, in which I also don't have a clue as towards when I'm going to be free. I've had mixed details mixed verdicts shoved at me as far as when I'm going to be free. One is which the recent one says a year from now, people have been saying. Some people have been saying till I'm 40. Some people have been saying a lifetime. So I don't know when I'm ever going to be free. I'm sitting here in limbo. I have no friends no hope of ever getting a girlfriend or a spouse, I basically sit here in limbo. But luckily, with all the free time I've had, I've discovered God, and I've discovered what this world is all about. And I'm thankful for that. I really am. So I think that what's going to happen is that they're not going to stop me, most likely. And some of the men in this town also, and some other people, are okay with that happening. They don't care if I kill myself. Most people are indifferent. The American culture is very they're indifferent for a lot of things. They don't really care. We're known for not caring about a lot of things, it seems. Hence why they let foreign policy get out of control for so many decades, in which they were clueless as towards why we go and fight wars abroad. I mean, to get off topic, one of the reasons why we fight wars abroad is due to the fact that the elites are satanic, and they're then harvesting death energy from that, and they want order out of chaos. So anyway, so that's one thing to get into. To discuss here. So we have that. They're not going to stop me from committing suicide, most likely, due to the fact that I would end up like these people. What they do is they build up these celebrities like Robin Williams, Anton Yelchin, and others. Okay, they build them up just to take them down, and they then harvest the sadness off of their death. We have all these celebrities down here. People were really heartbroken when these people died, especially Kurt Cobain. People love Kurt Cobain. They make them up into heroes. These are these false idols that they make you up, that they want you to worship rather than God. Okay. They build these people up just to take them down, okay? Not in all cases, because not all these celebrities die in Club 27 or die from suspicious deaths, but I mean, this is kind of what they do. This is how they roll. Because if they had every celebrity die in Club 27 or a suspicious death, then people would figure out what's going on, and it would draw suspicion, but they don't. So this draws less suspicion this way, and that's what they're doing. They build them up, and then they harvest the sadness from their death. And that's kind of like how it goes. That, and maybe some people wanted these people dead. And in many cases, the new director, like I said, is not killing off. These are the people these people in Club 27 down here are probably dead, most likely. Except for Kurt Cobain. His death looks like it might be a hoax. But for these people up here, these people are all faking their own deaths. These people are not dead, but they're harvesting the negative energy off it. So this is the difference between this is the old director down here, is what my theory is, and this is the new director up here, who is then harvesting negative energy, but not killing these people, which is a bit more, humane and a bit less horrific than the old director. Or the other possibility is the fact that since I've come around, because there's this song by Belle and Sebastian called "The Party Line." I just got to remember the lyrics real quickly, in which it goes, it goes, dancing on the black and white tiles, where were you when I was killing this butterfly? So what they mean by that is they're talking about black and white tiles and masonry, and then they're talking about where were you when I was killing this butterfly. It might be referring to me in the fact that they wanted me to represent this false rise of the Antichrist, this rise of the Phoenix almost, this false peace, so to say. And maybe they're referring to me in that song because since I've come along, there have been celebrities fake their death rather than get killed outright or sacrificed outright, like the Club 27 members down here. So they're no longer killing butterflies, is what the song's saying. What they mean by that is they mean they're no longer killing Project Monarch victims, monarch butterflies. It's you get a monarch butterfly. People who are monarch programming victims have monarch butterflies in their house as wall, hanging on the wall kind of thing as pictures. And this is due to monarch programming. It's a programming technique that involves mental and physical trauma that is used to make a human slave, basically. And this is another reason why some of the people in Hollywood die young, because they get overloaded from monarch programming. The Illuminati no longer have a use of them anymore. So it's that kind of thing. So they're no longer killing monarch butterflies, monarch programming victims anymore is what that song's saying. And they're wondering where I was, It's like maybe since I've come around, they've started to take a stand and have said, we don't want to be killed off anymore. So that's a good thing, So there's at least that aspect to it. But monarch programming hasn't ended. So that's basically it. I mean, that's, I guess, where I'll leave you. And no one can, and we'll just talk about a little bit more about myself a bit. And no one really, would blame me too much for wanting to, end my life due to the fact that, I've been terrorized by them. One of the things that occurred with the murder of my girlfriend, which we'll talk about in a later video, is a Monarch programming technique in which they tricked me into thinking that I was responsible for her death, which did not occur. She was most likely murdered, not by her mother, but by possibly Summer Cutler or someone from outside the household, but most likely Summer Cutler, because it's kind of sad that I'm pointing the finger at her, because she's a friend of mine, but it would make sense that she could get into the house undetected, not draw up a commotion, most crimes are, by the way, usually committed by people you know. It's always typically someone you know somehow. So this crime should be no different than that, most likely, in that she knew the family, and she knew the family well enough to not draw suspicion when she's entered the house. Because if you got a random person coming into the house, of course you're going to be like, "Hey, what are you doing here? What's going on?" You might put up a struggle, but with her, she snuck up on him. Probably is what might have happened. And it's a long story. I'm going to get into that in a later video on how that happened. I have a document that I wrote about that murder, or that double homicide, I should say, because her and her mother died. So I'll get into that in a later video. So anyway, I hope you guys have a great day, and God bless, all right?